Our next comic, I swear these descriptions are amazing, describes himself as a Santa Claus wannabe who may not be funny, but will definitely be getting coal in his stocking after this set. To me, that reads, I have an obsession with midgets, and I dream about little boys and girls sitting on my lap, which may or may not be funny. I've seen him perform at Blue Ridge Comedy, and he is definitely not jolly. Welcome to the stage, River!
Now I feel like I need to clear that up. It's definitely mainly dogs. I prefer them. But anyway, good evening. Thank you all for coming out tonight. Man, that light's a little brighter than I remember, but whatever, let's get this show started. I hope you're ready. And again, like I said, thank you all, because this is a unique evening. Makes me think, about a week ago or so, I was sitting at the house just banging stuff to interrupt my damn show. No, I was sitting at the house having a couple of drinks, dropping chairs, and just thinking random thoughts. Random thoughts just kept going through my mind. But my brain, for whatever odd reason, just kept coming back to the same thought. And that thought was vaginal discharges. Yeah, fucking weird, right? Anyway, so of course I had to spiral out of control and keep thinking about it. And I'm like, so what would be the absolute worst vaginal discharge? And I was like, well, would that be, I don't know, a yeast infection? Pretty bad. Would it be gonorrhea? And I was like, oh yeah, that's pretty bad too. Those not laughing probably had it, also known as the clap. But so I pondered that for a little while, and I was like, I think the absolute worst vaginal discharge is a kid. Wow. That's better than I thought. If y'all could do that every time. But no, the reason, because this is where it starts going down, unlike my wife. Anyway, so the reason I feel that way is because with that particular discharge, you were actually responsible for it for at least 18 years. You know, unless it becomes a school shooter. Or, of course, a victim of one. Which me, not having kids, if I had one, that's what I'd be hoping for. Because you might not be aware of this, but some of the victims' families received over $5 million in compensation. I'm not even kidding there. And you could kill my entire family for way less than half of that, and I'd be totally okay. As long as they didn't kill the important ones, like my dogs. Everybody else. Anyway. So my wife and I, we don't have kids, which is a thankful kind of thing. I told her a lot. See, smart people like me, thank you. I told her a long time ago that I am what I call pro-abortion. Now, yeah, what? Silence. My wife told me that's not the right thing to call it, and I'm like, no, that's exactly what I am. I am 100% for it. It doesn't bother me at all. Hell, I wish my mother would have had an abortion. I mean, my brother is a complete asshole. Fuck that guy. Anyway, all your laughter's throwing me off. I appreciate it, but it was not like this in my head at all. When I have sex with my wife, it's just complete silence. But anyway. I know, so he's had sex with my wife too. Very nice. It's not just me. It makes me feel a lot better to know she is just a dead fish. Hi, sweetie. I'm just kidding. She's right back. She's not here. Anyway, so like I was saying, we don't have any kids. Abortion is what it is. And as you probably know, the Supreme Court kind of screwed things up a little while back and lifted up to the states to decide if women can have an abortion, which I think is bullshit. Your body, your choice, all that. Me personally, my feeling about it is abortions are kind of like pineapple pizza. I think everybody should try it at least once. just to see what it's like. But as you know, in Tennessee and a lot of other states, if you do find yourself needing an abortion, you can't get it here in Tennessee because it's illegal. So I came up with a little idea. It might make it a little better for some people, but you could, if you're going to have to travel out of state to get it, spend a little extra money and take a journey, if you will. A journey that I call a termination vacation. You just save up some money, go somewhere new, exciting, somewhere you've probably never been. Go overseas. You could go to Germany. It's wonderful there. I mean, they got great beer, great food. The culture's pretty good. Little gray area there. But what you probably didn't know is that in Germany, you can get an abortion for free. Yeah. Well, there is a stipulation. You have to be Jewish. I don't come up with that shit. The sad part is, go home tonight, Google it, and you'll see that I'm not entirely full of shit. Anyway, like I was saying, my wife and I, we don't have any kids. Super happy about that because it allows us to spend a lot of time doing, whatever the hell we want to do, which is really exciting. My wife, though, she likes to watch all those cooking shows with all the famous people out there and stuff. So being the amazingly mediocre husband that I am, I wanted to surprise her with like a fun fact one day. And I was like, man, I wonder who the first famous cook was. So I started looking it up, doing that whole Google thing. And I realized that I thought it was Julia Child, but I am 100% incorrect. It was not Julia Child. The world's first famous cook was Hitler. Who writes this shit? Anyway, no, I'm just kidding. I didn't do any of that. I don't give a shit about who the world's first famous cook was. But you have to admit, he is pretty well known for his work with very large ovens. But no, seriously, I never understood the hate for Jewish people or for any people for that matter. I just don't have time for it. But fortunately for me, I got the chance recently to travel to Brooklyn, New York. Yeah, sorry about that. Like the whole place just smells like piss and weed. It's horrible. But it's like I couldn't tell if I was high or just nauseous the whole time. But so when I got there, I got to learn a lot about the Hasidic Jews. And I don't know if you know anything about Hasidic Jews, but they are like the top tier, big hats, curls hanging down, follow that book to the letter part of that religious cult. Oh, he did. Anyway, but they are serious, man. They don't take any shit. And so I learned a lot about them. And in Brooklyn, they have the largest number of Hasidic Jews anywhere in the world. And what I did learn about them, which I thought was a little funny, the gentlemen, they wear wool, like 100% head to toe. And I realized that I'm talking all year round, looking like a sweat-covered trench coat mafia, if you will. I mean, it gets hot in August, right? And they're wooled out. But I learned that the reason they wear the wool is because it is flame retardant. It's like a thinker, right? It gives them, I guess it gives them a sense of security, provides a little protection, just in case. But that's not the craziest part of it. I mean, I think it's awesome that they do that. What I found to be a little funnier, if you will, is that they have their own neighborhood volunteer police force. Like they're all volunteers, like I said. Probably not much better than the cops out here, but no, I'm just kidding. Cops are great. But the volunteer police force there in Brooklyn is called the Shmira, which is a great word. Look it up later. It's pretty entertaining. But what I thought was cool about it is that their cars look a lot like the car from Ghostbusters. Like, it's just a ginormous station wagon looking thing with a superfluous amount. I learned that word yesterday. A superfluous amount, that means a lot in case you didn't know, of sirens and lights on top. So I had the opportunity, if you want to call it that, to see one go just zipping down the road, lights, sirens going off and everything like that. I mean, I don't know what he was chasing. Maybe a German guy that sells ovens. Who knows? But The funny thing is, all the lights were popping off, and I thought it was pretty amazing because they were very bright blue, very bright. And it was just like a menorah, Star of David, menorah, Star of David, dreidel, dreidel, dreidel. I was like, holy shit, that is the greatest light show I've ever seen on a cop car. But the siren is what really got me. I almost pissed myself, like, seriously. I'll try to replicate the sound for you. It's pretty amazing. It sounded like this. Jewy, 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 Jew. Yeah, it got everybody's attention. They all moved out of the way. But anyway, that's my time for tonight. That's what I got. Thank you all again for coming out. You have a good evening.
Black Forever! And his newfound vocabulary and his wife. Sounds like she's a pretty good lay.